What is going on, YouTube family? What's happening, Discord fam in the background? We've come to another edition of the top-down analysis video. I want to say thank you so much for the subscribers continuing to grow. Myself and Justin want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We're pushing toward 850 subscribers, pushing toward that 900 mark, gaining about 100 subscribers a week. So that's phenomenal growth for us. Doing everything organically, and we wanted to make sure we pause and say thank you every chance we get. So shout out to you if you've been watching these top-down analysis video. I really appreciate you guys showing the appreciation just by watching. We've been pretty spot on with these videos for about 6 weeks straight now. So this is week 7. I'm always just going to call price the way I see it. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. It's just right now we're on a hot streak, so we're going to identify that. That being said, if you've never been here before, welcome to the Trader Shop. My name is T. Hobbs. Please make sure you tip the barbers, aka hit the like and subscribe button. Turn the notification bells on so you get notified every time we go live and or put out a video. Without further ado, we like to jump right into the top-down analysis. I'll be analyzing price on NASDAQ, NQ futures, E-mini futures, and then the S&P E-mini futures as well. So you can fast forward to whichever one you like. This will not be chaptered, but I'm going to spend about 10 minutes on each one. So fast forward to that portion and you'll be good to go. All right, jumping right into the NASDAQ NQ on the monthly. I always like to start with the monthly because it gives me an idea of how we finish, especially when we're starting a new month, right? We can see right here, the month of February, we discussed this doji candle previously in January that could either lead to some continued selling or start to push us up. The job of February was to get us above January. Obviously, if we're going to continue on an uptrend, we have to set higher lows and higher highs. Therefore, February did its job, right? Now we're into March, and we're marching into March like a lion, right? If you were here the last couple of days, the last day, leap year day, the 29th of February, and then March 1st, there was like basically no buying whatsoever. I think the market rose about 2, maybe 3% in a day. So I mean, yeah, like 2% in a day, like 1 or 2%. I don't know. We'll go back and look as we get down. Ultimately, my job is to analyze the structure and tell you kind of what we saw. I've already spoke about this this cup and handle. I won't speak about it any further. It's came and went. Now we're above the previous all-time high very nicely, and we're continuing to push for all-time highs. As far as the analyzation of the first opening candle, take this with a grain of salt because it's only 2-3 days into the month. Yeah, 3 days into the month, but it's coming out very, very bullishly, and we can get a closer look at it as we come down to lower time frames. So let's jump on down to the weekly. All right, so as we jump into the weekly, you already know one thing I really love to do is I like to take this candle here, right? I like to take this candle and I like to throw a Fibonacci retracement on it. And I grab the Fibonacci retracement and I go from the top to the bottom of this candle. I don't know why my thing is delayed here. I don't know what's going on. Usually TradingView is pretty good with that. So we'll go here. There we go. All right, good. So you look at the weekly Fibonacci retracement, and that puts us roughly at about 18,096. Let me just turn this magnet off because it's running really weird. So 18,096.50. I'm going to take this off because I already know like where this level is going to be, and I'm going to show you that here in a second. But let's just discuss what happened. We put in a lower high down here back in January, right? Or a higher low back in January. We decided to trade above that high. We came back down, retested the low or the high that brought us up here. We pushed up in February 5th, decided to come back down, retest that high that brought us here or the low that brought us here. Squeeze down about 50% into this low right here. And then from that point, this was the NVIDIA's earning day. I remember, right? From that point, we just continued to rally. And we just kept going up and up and up to the daggone moon. So do I think that the market can continue to squeeze? Yes. Ultimately, guys, right now, we're only up about 10% on the year. I don't even think it's 10%. Anyway, we on average, we usually pump about 30 to 40% to end the year. And I'll show you as I start to unveil kind of what my pre-market plan, or not my pre-market plan, my top-down analysis plan looks like. I'll show you exactly where I think we can go as we start to look a little deeper into that. So we traded back into the 50% of the previous week, right? And then things got pretty juicy. So let me turn on some of these this top-down analysis here, and I'll show you kind of where we predicted price was going to go. And again, my predictions is just what I think, right? It doesn't mean price has to follow that to the exact. But like I said, we're 6 weeks straight. We've been pretty spot on. Last week's low prediction was 880.25. I predicted that we would come down, trade back into this level. I wanted, as we got into the week and we started to sell, I thought we would come back to 50% of the NVIDIA earnings. Instead, we actually came, if you look at it, the week prior. This is the week's prior candle. You look at it, we basically traded right back into, not this week, it was this week's prior actually. Hang on. If we go into the prior week, right, this one right here, I found this kind of strange when I looked at it, but we go wick to wick and we go to this week's prior, we traded back into exactly 50% of February 12th's candle, like to the tick of 831. Obviously, I wasn't looking at that because I look at the week prior, but I just thought it was interesting, something to note. So on last week's low was predicted at 880. We came down to roughly 831. So we're about 50 points off, but we got you in the area, right? And that's what matters. All right. So what am I looking at for this week? We dropped down to the daily. We just analyzed what the price is doing. We had this falling wedge pattern, right? This was the candle. This was the candle structure that I felt like we were waiting to hear the news toward the end of the week, the PCE, whatever. Good news, bad news. I think the market had already thought that they were going to just continue to push because the news was actually bad and we still continue to push. At this point, bad news is good news. Good news is good news. The market has a destination and I feel like it's just going to get there regardless of what the news is going to be. Anyway, we traded back down into this demand zone. We pushed out of this area, put in a new high above there. And like I said, if you were around March 1st, Friday, it was a day to remember, so to speak. All right. So what am I looking for moving forward? Full body candle on this daily, right? What I would like to see is us trade back down into about 50%. That level sits at about 18,201.25 on the daily candle, right? I also would like to see us, if we can't hold 201, I'd like to see us come back down and test 18,094.75 for multiple reasons. One, this was the previous day low, right? And then secondly, the reason why I didn't mark that weekly level is because this is also the 50% retracement level on the weekly candle, right? So if you take this weekly candle here, right, this will be the previous week, right? And you just drop it right here. You can see that that level lines up directly with the previous day low. So that's what we call like a double confluence type of area. So I'd definitely be looking for price to bounce here if we're to remain bullish. As long as we stay above this high, I could see us trading back down and retesting this low down here at 18,022. But as long as we stay in this trend, we're going to remain bullish, right? You can play shorts if you like, but ultimately the market's going to remain bullish. I expect pullbacks. I expect all of that, but ultimately I expect the market to continue its range toward the upside, right? So on the 4 hour, as we come a little closer to price, we can see that we tapped all-time highs / previous day high. After rallying, I believe this was like a 3% rally on that day. So let's go here. Yeah, this is 2%. And then back in the back, it's probably like 3% from down here. Yeah, 1.8%. I mean, it was just a crazy rally, like a 2% day. That's crazy for the NQ to run like that. But 300-point days on NQ is just something that we've grown used to. So into price as we go, I'm looking for price to trade back down basically into this level right here, and then start to trade back up and then start to put in new highs as we start to get closer to the end of the week. My prediction for the end of the week, I mean, this is just a shot in the dark, but let's just say we go up another 3%, which is what we're averaging per week. If we go up another 3% from here, right, we're looking at about, I think it's like 19s, like the 18,009s or something like that. So, and this is just, shot in the dark, just doing math as we see it. Let's say we go up 2.9%, we'll be up at 18,905, right? So the market has much more room that it can go to, right? But our job isn't to predict price, it's to react to price. But I have fun predicting it. That's what a top-down analysis is for, to let you know how I'm seeing price. And, this is my prediction right here, right? So if I'm looking at price, right, this is the path that I think price is going to take, because I like to do things like this because it's fun, right? It's fun. So this is the path that I think price could potentially take, because it's the path that it took last week. or we could just come out and start this month. It's the beginning of the month. We could just start pumping right off the bat. Doesn't matter to me either way, but like I said, it's fun to kind of predict where I think price is going to go. So again, my levels are the previous daily fib at 201.225, and then the previous day low at 18.09475. And anywhere in this demand zone, I'm looking for price to react to. All right, so let's jump right over to ES, and we'll basically discuss the same price action because they are very, very identical on the month and on the basically every time frame we're going to go through, right? So on the monthly, like I said, we had that cup and handle play out. We pulled back into 50% in January. February, we just never pulled back. We just rallied. That's when we got NVIDIA's earnings. So that's why this candle is so full on the monthly, right? And then again, we're starting the month with a new high, right? Which leads you to believe that the month's going to come out and be super bullish, okay? On the weekly, same thing that NQ did. We came back in, retested the low that brought us the high. After we break a high, what do we expect to do? We expect some type of consolidation, right, prior to moving higher, or we can expect price to continue gapping up before then consolidating back down, okay? That's just the way price action moves. As long as you know that process, once you figure out that process, I'm telling you, you'll be better off, all right? Let's drop down to the daily. Fibonacci retracement puts us at, on the daily fib, puts us at 51.19. The weekly fib puts us again right at the previous day low, so no need to mark that as well on our charts. So what are we looking for? We're looking for price to trade sideways or downward trend toward the daily Fibonacci, because that's a good deal. 50% of yesterday's price is always a better price that day, right? Therefore, we expect for price to come back in here, hold this level, and then continue back to the upside. It's the same deal for NQ. As long as we stay within this range, I expect the uptrend to continue. We could come down and retest the very low at 50.90. I don't see that happening unless we get some bad news. But ultimately, I would like to see price stay above 51.20 through roughly about 50.90 to remain bullish. To the bearish side, if we break below 50.60, I mean, we got to really get going to the downside for me to start to be even a little bit bearish. The only thing that I think that would flip this, my bearish feeling, is us, or my bullish feeling, is for us to trade, just like on NQ, trade beneath 50% of NVIDIA's earnings. That level on ES sits at 50.41. You can go back and watch the tape, but I think it's 17.757 on NQ. But as long as we trade above this level, because this NVIDIA is driving this market, no doubt about it. NVIDIA and the other Mag 7 and Bitcoin, right? Shout out to the crypto bros. NVIDIA and the Mag 7 are driving this market. NVIDIA is projected to be the largest stock in the Mag 7. Right now, NVIDIA sits at about a $2 trillion market cap, and they're projecting it to go to 3 or 4 trillion. Right now, it's $830 a share. Every $200 it puts on, it adds another trillion. People are projecting NVIDIA to go to $1,200. So you do the math. If NVIDIA continues to pump, where do you think it's going to put the indexes? So if you're looking to short this market, be very, very cautious. Do it with the scalper's mentality would be my suggestion to you. All right, so as we drop down to the 4 hour, we can see in this same area, we built 4 hour demand. Full body candle is the thing to note here. Yes, we got a rejection, but this looks like more like profit taken than anything in my book. But if we start to trade down, again, we're looking for that same area, 51.16 through roughly about 50.90 to hold on the 4 hour. Daily fib could bounce price as well at 51.20. As we trade higher, ES or NQ on the week is averaging about 2%, right? So about 1 to 2% puts us at about the 52.50 range, right? Somewhere around here, right? So if you're looking to guesstimate how high we can go, right? Like just go with the average. The average has been about 1 to 2% per week. 100 points per week is what ES is averaging without some type of ridiculous catalyst. So there's no reason for me to believe that we won't see that 5,200 level until I see significant sellers come into the market. You can see over here in this sell-off, there were no significant sellers in this market. They were not. If anything, all of this looks like, it just looks like buyers were aggressively loading into their position while also trading price down for a better deal on price. This tells you who was in true control of this move, right? Not one second did I ever believe sellers are in control. And I won't believe that until structure tells me otherwise. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump right into the news for next week because there isn't much. And when there isn't much news, I'm completely okay with that because it fits my thesis of breaking a high and then going right into consolidation. You can see on Monday, absolutely nothing for USD. Go into Tuesday, we got final services PMI, yellow folder news. The only red folder news we have is ISM services. And again, not much, not anything to write home about. We go into Wednesday and it gets kind of juicy. JOLTS report and the Fed chair will be speaking at 10 a.m. Eastern. These are important events because the JOLTS report usually adds a jolt, no pun intended, to the market. However, if it comes out the same time that he's speaking, this can cause a lot of consolidation because a lot of buyers and sellers will be trying to hold on to his every word, which again leads me to the belief that we could see a lot of consolidation next week. As long as Fed Jerome Powell is talking, and if he's talking today, he's talking on the 6th, he's probably talking again on the 7th, right? So if we come through here, let's see. We got unemployment claims, revised visit. Yep, Fed Jerome Powell talking again on the 7th. He usually talks in the Senate, and then he talks in the what's the other Senate and the anyway, I can't think of it. Anyway, the two houses is the House. Lord have mercy. The Senate, and then he talks in the House. He testifies in both, right? So anytime he's talking, you best believe I'm going to be getting up playing the London session, right? I already in my brain I know I'm going to be playing London because I know what this price action usually brings. And because we just broke a high, it fits the structure mindset of what I'm thinking that we just broke a high, we'll go into consolidation. We end the week with non-farm payrolls, unemployment or employment changes, which again brings back some volatility. And I think we'll start pushing back up or down based off whatever Jerome Powell has to say in his little testimony. And then we could just have that Friday where we just go all day again, pushing back into that 3% for the week. So that being said, that's pretty much all I have in regards to the top-down analysis. I really hope these are helping. I don't do them to be right. I do them to truly help out traders that may be struggling to put together a plan, right? I've been that trader. I've been that trader that comes to Monday, and the only analysis I've done is when I'm going to hit the buy button. I've been that sailor that trades futures at 5 p.m. just to trade futures at 5 p.m. Stop being that trader, right? Instead, become the trader that plans from Friday evening to Sunday evening exactly what you planning on doing on Monday. And that's what I'm trying to grow. That's what I'm trying to give you guys. And if you're interested in joining our community, joining our family, joining the shop family, the Discord link is in the description down below. You can hit that. It's $15 to try us out for a week. It's $40 per month if you're interested in furthering your journey with us. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Please make sure you tip the barbers, aka hit the like and subscribe button, turn the notification bells on so you get notified every time we go live and or put out a video. My name is T. Hobbs from the Trader Shop, and I'm out. Peace.